asking yourself, what can I say no to now so I can say yes to something else, something that's of benefit? And it's not necessarily, no, I can't do this anymore because I can do all the things. I can go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a matter of not wanting to do that anymore. And I think that that's such a powerful place to be, where you choose to say no to certain things
Mm-hmm.
because you'd rather be alone.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode this week. So happy to be back. We have another guest on the show this week. I am joined by Miss Mary. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you for having me here today.
Thanks for coming. So can you tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you do, who you are?
100%. So, what I do, I am the type of person who will take you from where you are to where you want to be. So, that is bridging the gap between not just the life that you want to live in terms of your holistic wellness, but also in terms of business. So, making sure that you have all the strategies in place to not only take your business to the next level via social media or the systems that you need, but also your lifestyle, because I believe that your lifestyle is everything you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, and how you handle yourself. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that's what I do. That's my passion.
Yes, I love that. How long have you been in the wellness space?
I would say since 2007, that's when everything changed for me. I lost my dad. And even though I was already running a business with web design, development, and back then it was video editing, we didn't even have social media. So
Mm-hmm.
everything was done more behind the scenes. And then I lost my dad and everything just went upside down for me. We lost my mom. We were young. So my dad was everything I had. And that's when I started to take a closer look at wellness, because he had heart disease. So I ramped up my own physical fitness and also my nutrition, and started to learn and get a little bit deeper into what that meant.
Yeah. So what did you start with, like when it came to wellness, like getting into that? Was it yoga? Was it, there's always
Yeah.
like a catalyst, or there's something that we start with.
Absolutely. Running,
Running.
because of the type of work that I did back then. Sometimes you're dealing with clients, and you know how sometimes you make that suggestion for them and they're like, no, this is the way I want to do things. And you're like, oh, but I know what's best for you.
Yeah.
But you have to go sometimes what the client wants. And
Yeah.
that was all in the graphic design space and the web design space, where sometimes designs didn't make any sense to me, but it made sense to them. So to me, running, Pilates, yoga, and cycling, spinning were the outlet that I had.
Yeah.
And after my dad passed away, I would say about 7 months or so after that, that's when I found Zumba fitness.
Wow.
And everything just changed.
That was 2007?
Yeah, 2007.
Yeah. Nice. And then what made you like choose Zumba specifically? Because I also used to teach Zumba.
Yeah. So at the time, like I was doing Pilates and yoga and all these things. And then one day I was at the YMCA in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, in the house. So I saw this flyer for a Latin-inspired dance class, or I think they called it Latin-inspired aerobic class or something like that. So I was intrigued because I'm Peruvian. I was born in Peru, and Latin music is in my blood. So I walked in, and right away she started with all this Latin music that I was familiar with. And my instructor at the time, her name is Kathy, and she was half black, half white. And she looked Latina, and there she was moving the way that we move. When I walked out of that studio, the mirrors were fogged up. And I remember sitting in the car with the door open and just like so happy, because I was in such a state of depression from losing my dad. And he was my first dance partner. So of course, to hear some of these older songs that, I would dance with him, like it brought so much joy to my heart, and it became my therapy.
Yeah.
So I was with her, I would say about 1.5 to 2 years. And then she had to move away. So then I had nowhere else to go. And she really encouraged me to get my group fitness certification and all of that, get licensed to teach Zumba. And that's where my own journey as an instructor started. And I was very introverted back in the day. And I still am to a certain extent. But that really helped to bring me out of my shell in so many ways.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. Like, I feel like Zumba is for the most part, like a good starting ground for most instructors and most dancers, right? Because it really allows you to see like, oh my God, like there's so many different types of people in the class and
Yes.
different energies and, all different types of levels. Do you find that the people that you met like in the Zumba community are still people that you stay in contact with now?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
My closest friends are people that I met back when I was a participant, and to see them flourish, start their own businesses. I'm mentoring them now. We do so much together. And then people that started when I was also a participant and saw me become an instructor have stayed with me
Mm-hmm.
throughout all of those years. So there's a very special connection that now, as I'm getting older, I really feel that, how they say you have more years behind you than ahead of you,
Yeah.
so I've been teaching now 15 plus years.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer I can keep going with my body, but to see that longevity, it's become a blessing. Where back in the day, sometimes I would see it as kind of like a burden sometimes because of the burnout situation, running a
Yeah.
business, teaching all these classes,
Yeah.
feeling the impact on the body. Then I would sometimes dread going to teach. But
Mm-hmm.
everything changed for me in 2020 when all of a sudden we had to stop seeing each other.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's something that I look forward to, that no matter how I feel, I say to myself, well, I don't have to do it. I get to do it. I get to still show up. I get to be out there with the people in the community, and to see my ladies still going strong after all these years. And a lot of them started when they were like in their 50s or 60s. So just imagine, how
Wow.
much older they are, the ones that started back then and the ones that started a few months ago. Like, we still have all of that together, and it's a beautiful thing.
That's
Hmm.
beautiful. And it's beautiful too that you're now getting to mentor them and help them in a different direction,
Yes.
in their
Hmm.
life. So, one thing that you said that I want to kind of steer off on, the idea of like burning out and using your body and having that awareness that we need to take care of our bodies a little bit more
Hmm.
as like fitness professionals
Yeah.
and, as dancers. So I want to talk about some ways that you take care of yourself, right?
Yeah.
As a businesswoman, as a mentor, as a fitness instructor, as a wellness professional. So like wearing so many hats, like when do you get the time, to take care
Yeah.
of yourself and how do you do that?
Well, I experienced burnout, and you really can't tell people what it's like until you experience it yourself. I would say 3 times.
Mm.
One of those times I ended up in the hospital.
Wow.
There were times when I would just go, go, go and not stop. And this
Mm.
is before I found life coaching.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped me tremendously, because I would have all these energy drinks, and not necessarily like the Red Bulls or anything like that. I would always
Mm-hmm.
go for like the natural route, because at the time I was already going into nutrition and things like that. But still, it was adding more. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
did not want to stop. And to me, an entrepreneur was somebody who just didn't take breaks, who had to keep going, who had to keep grinding. And
Mm-hmm.
then once you see what that does to you, the mental fatigue, the fact that you're not present anymore with the people around you,
Yeah.
and you're not taking care of the one body that you have,
Mm-hmm.
everything changes. So
Mm-hmm.
for me now, I would say that wellness, mindfulness, meditation, prayer, it's a daily thing. And I would say in the last few months, I've actually added naps to my routine
Ooh, yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's 6 days, 5 days out of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Sundays, I try not to do anything. We go to church in the morning, we're home. So I would say it's a process, and it's a progression that has happened over the last few years. And sometimes if we don't know what's working for us and what's not working for us, we don't know what to do.
Mm.
And to me, the first step is always that awareness. You know how we always talk about self awareness? Everybody talks about self awareness. Well, what does that mean? It means having a conversation with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
not just talking to yourself, all the positive things, the positive thinking that they say, but the conversations that we need to have, like the questions like, is this working for me today? What am I getting out of this situation or this relationship or this environment? And you have
Mm.
to answer yourself realistically, honestly. And then
Mm-hmm.
you also have to be super hyper aware of, for women, your monthly cycle,
Yes.
right? How there are certain days when you're going to feel more energetic,
Mm-hmm.
certain days when you're going to feel a little bit more foggy, certain days when you're going to be like, I don't want to deal with anything or anybody. So giving yourself all the things that you need, and that conversation alone could be 5 hours long.
Yes.
You know how that is. But I would say start with self-awareness, start with asking yourself, is this going to benefit me? Is this going to deter me? Is this aligned with my goals? Is this aligned with my wellness? And that's when I had to start dropping classes and saying no to things, saying no to special, for example, charity events or Zumba events and things like that. Saying no to people that come to me asking me if I could teach at their studio and throw money at me. Like, no, I don't want to put my body through that again. I can coach you. We can work on it at a deeper level, but that's what it's become for me now. It's working with people at a deeper level than just a superficial level.
Yeah, I love that so much. Just having that relationship with yourself. That's really what it comes down to, right? Like having the awareness and the relationship with yourself to be like, I can do this, or like, I've already hit my threshold for, you know, my energy output this week. So I'm going to, you know, take the day off. I love that you have your Sundays committed. For me, it's Saturdays. Like, I don't really schedule anything Saturdays. I don't teach Saturdays. You know, same thing. People ask, hey, can I get a private? Can we do this? And you know, it's hard to sometimes turn down that money, you know, but it really comes down to how you really see yourself, the time that you need for yourself, right?
Yeah. And also asking yourself, what can I say no to now so I can say yes to something else? Something that's of benefit. And it's not necessarily, no, I can't do this anymore, because I can do all the things. I can go. But it's a matter of not wanting to do that anymore. And I think that that's such a powerful place to be, where you choose to say no to certain things because you'd rather be alone. You know, you'd rather have that solitude. And to me, solitude is very important. Just sitting with my thoughts. I drive sometimes with no music on, and other times I do. Sometimes I sit on my porch with my phone, and sometimes I just sit on the porch and listen to the birds. You know, so things like that, just being able to choose what you know you need, because your body sometimes it'll give you subtle hints, and your mind will also give you subtle hints, but you don't want that body to all of a sudden be like, no girl, you just sit your butt down, that's it, you're done. You know, that's when injury happens. That's when a lot of things really begin to change for us, and you know, we want to bring it back to ourselves.
We want to maximize our life, right? Like, and not even just like the amount of years we're gonna live, because we don't really know how long we're gonna live, but just the energy, like you said, like you can do all the things. You can show up, you could teach a class tomorrow, you could teach a class today, you could coach someone, right? But it's really, like you said, like getting clear about how your time is being spent. That's really important.
That intentionality is worth a lot. And when people see that you carry that peace, you know, like, oh, you know, I had somebody say to me once, I want what you have. And I said, what do you want? Like, what are you talking about? Just, I want that peace. And that peace can only come from one place. So for me, like, I'm a Christian, I pray, I have God in mind with everything that I do. I'm not a perfect person. By all means, I'm the most imperfect human being that ever existed, I think. But I feel that it's important for me to put my trust and my full capacity in the hands of somebody who can carry it all, as opposed to me, because I can't do this alone. You know, I can't do motherhood alone or wifehood or anything like that alone. And to me, that's my priority, is to make sure that I'm good for my kids, for the ones who matter, because they're going to grow. And I don't want to give them something that they're going to have to sit in therapy for. You know what I'm saying? So it's important for us to work on ourselves, to make sure that we know who we are, that we pay attention to the things that fuel us, that we know our purpose, and that we also know our boundaries, so that our children understand what that's like, so that they grow up with that peace and that joy for life as well.
Ooh, boundaries that's a big one. I was talking about that on my last podcast episode. Boundaries, right? Like setting, even with yourself, right? Setting those boundaries with yourself. Like, okay, I have my work here, right? I know I need to get this done, but maybe at 8:00, I'm shutting it down. I'm closing my laptop, or, you know, just being honest with yourself about like what you need. Like, do I need a massage? I actually remember seeing your story. I was watching your Instagram stories and you were talking about like a massage therapist that you went to and how important it is for us to care for ourselves in that way, especially if you're active, right?
Yeah, and that's just another form of therapy. We talk about, for example, psychotherapy. We have sound bath therapy and what's the other one? Cold plunging therapy, massage therapy. So you got to find what works for you. For some people, when they're not feeling so good, they just play the music in the kitchen and they dance around and all of a sudden they feel better. So that's also a very therapeutic thing to do. So you have to know what works for you. And for us who are so physical, it's important to have somebody that works on our bodies, because before you know it, you start to walk a little weird and they know. So his name is Mike. When he sees me, and thankfully he works at the same place where I do, he's like, okay, you need to come in. And I'm like, but it's only been 2 weeks. It's been a month and a half. It's been 2 months. It's been 3 months.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't realize how fast time can go. And this is when we need to stop and be like, okay, you know what? We got to pay a little bit more attention to the way that we feel. Take a break here and there. Just breathe. And that's another thing too, that sometimes, people may be listening to us right now and thinking, well, that's all well and good. You can take a nap in the afternoon, but I have to work. Listen, everybody has the same hours at work, right? We want to talk about efficiency also and how it is that you're structuring your day so that you are able to maybe go to your car, go to a quiet place and just spend that time with yourself, regroup, do some breathing exercises without having the phone in your hand. Because I feel like social media is robbing us of our precious life and our precious minutes. Right? So just being intentional with that, making sure you're not constantly looking at what other people are doing, but also maybe if you are on social media, just go in with the purpose of learning something, of bettering yourself, right? So who can you listen to that might help you to think a little bit differently as opposed to making you feel a certain way about yourself?
Yeah. And I was about to say tweeted. Threaded. I don't know what people are calling it now, but I posted on Threads yesterday and I was like, I'm kind of just in this era of like going on and like posting and ghosting. Yeah. Like you don't always need to, it's great. Engagement is great. That's how we met, through engagement. But sometimes you don't always need to see what's going on with other people, right? Sometimes if your job is including, you need to show up on social media, sometimes just do that or schedule the post or, get in there, get out. Like you don't always need to be so stimulated with what's going on.
And that's it, the stimulation bit, because you can easily spend a whole hour scrolling and then you're like, no way, man, you got to stop yourself. So if for anybody who has an issue with it, just set a timer, 10 minutes. You'd be surprised at how quick 10 minutes goes. So fast when you're scrolling. Now imagine when you think, okay, yeah, I've had enough. You look at the time and it was 90 minutes that you spent on social media, going from Facebook to Threads to Instagram to TikTok. And I'm guilty of it too. So there are times that I do devote. I'm like, okay, let me see what's going on and maybe there's something I can learn.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've muted a lot of people. Muting, especially people that are your friends, right? Now, professional accounts, that's a different situation when you're trying to develop those relationships when you're in business. But I'm not on social media for pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm on social media to grow. I'm on social media to grow, not just grow my business, but to influence people and empower people to be better. Not just to post a little silly thing that, that is going to be so frivolous. So that's just my take. But if people are there to consume content, then just be mindful of how long you're consuming and what you're getting out of it and how you feel after. Do you feel better after, or do you feel really run down and annoyed and pissed and all that comes with it?
And having that intention, like you said, like you're using social media for business to grow your brand, to connect, you're right, to network, where someone else, they might just be on there to watch the funny videos and stuff like that. But again, just being mindful of like, what are you consuming? How much are you consuming? And then when you get off, how do you feel? Like, do you feel drained? Do you feel bad about yourself? Are you comparing yourself to other people? You see your girl on vacation and maybe you can't afford the vacation right now, right? So just being really mindful of that is important too. I think that's big.
Yeah. I love that intentionality behind it, because there are times when, for example, I'll go on TikTok. I like to go on TikTok when I'm brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
And you know what I look at? Have you seen those Chinese videos where they're making things from scratch?
I
They're,
don't think
oh,
so.
it's so cool. The music is so serene, and the B-roll that they use is all like these beautiful landscapes, and the water's running. They're making paper from scratch, or
Ooh.
they're dyeing clothing from scratch, or they're making. I've even seen them make like lipstick and blush and things like that.
Yeah.
Everything from scratch. There's no words. It's just the soothing music,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes you see the dog just walking through, and they have these
Oh,
beautiful, huge bowls made of bamboo. So the whole scenery, like it's almost, calming for me to do
therapeutic.
that. Yeah, to do
Yeah.
that at night. And in the morning, I'll listen to like the prayer app that I have and just to prime myself for the day, So it's like, okay, let's get revved up and then let's calm things down.
Okay, hold up. Before we get too real into this conversation, I wanted to let you know that registration is now open for both of our retreats coming up in 2025. We are going back to Arizona. Yup, back to where it started, baby. We're heading to Sedona in Scottsdale for 4 nights, 5 days to heal, to meditate, to ground ourselves, to have a deeper connection with ourselves. This is going to be a completely transformative experience. Join us for the Phoenix Rising Retreat from March 13th to the 17th, 2025. This is going to be amazing. If you've been asking about our first domestic retreat of 2025, well, this is it. We literally just opened registration. So reserve your spot. It's going to be freaking amazing. You can find all of our details on our website. And don't forget the Goddess Retreat in Greece. We're heading to Mykonos and the beautiful hidden gem Andros for 7 days, 6 nights from May 7th to the 13th. This is going to be an amazing experience if you're looking to connect with your feminine energy, if you're looking to soften, if you're looking to heal, if you're looking to really have a deeper connection with women and community and nature, and to really just soak in all that Greek goddess energy. So if you're interested and you're looking to take some time for yourself and start 2025 by putting yourself first and prioritizing your mental health, your self-care, your spirituality, your connection with yourself, then I invite you to register for our retreat. The only thing that's required to book is a deposit, and then you can make monthly payment arrangements up until January and February for the retreat. So any questions, feel free to hit us up at Real Hot Retreats on Instagram. Take a look at our previous retreats, see if you're feeling out the vibes, and hope to see you there.
Priming yourself for bed, to relax. And I don't know if you do this, but also just writing down a list of things that you have to do for the next day so they're not just floating over your head when you're trying to fall asleep. And just being able to, that's something that I learned to do because I like to take those naps, right? When I started feeling like, okay, I got to get ready again later for either a client Zoom or to go teach a class, because I still teach several classes a week in the evening, then I want to just take a little break, turn on the sound thing. We have a filter that makes this nice white noise.
Ooh.
And then the dogs know that they have to calm down. So they jump on the bed with me. I
Yeah.
close the shade. And then
Aw.
I've had to learn to fall asleep quick. And in order to do that, you have to put your thoughts somewhere else. You got to like just grab them from floating over here to putting them on paper or something so that you know what's happening later. And you just drift off and set a timer, 20 minutes, boom, and you're refreshed. Sometimes
Yeah.
I get up, I shower again.
Yeah.
And then I put my makeup on again, eyeliner, whatever I need to do. And then
Yeah.
I'm out the door to go teach an evening class or get ready for a Zoom.
Yeah, I love that. I've never been a big napper, but I'm feeling like more in this, era of being my 30s. I'm
In
feeling
your
like,
30s, girl, I'm 50. I just turned 50 in June.
You look amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. But you got to like know your body, and things begin to, you don't have the same stamina during a hit workout that you
Yeah.
used to. Like to get down to do a burpee and get up,
Uh-huh.
it's not as quick.
Yeah.
So just being able to I get tired more easily now, so I know I start to feel drained. And supplementation is also really important,
Yes.
for your hormone health, for your mental health and all of that, for your energy. So that's one of the things that I would say is a great perk to be able to work from home, to set my own schedule so I can just take a little nap here and there. And even if I don't have enough time to fall asleep, just closing my eyes to do some breathing and reset
Mm-hmm.
myself, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've heard of yoga nidra, which is like it's kind of like you're talking about, like you're
Mhm.
not exact. You can use it to fall asleep,
Yeah.
or you can just use it to just quiet
Yeah.
your
Mhm.
mind and relax your body. I have like a video, not a video, like a podcast. I
Yeah.
can share with you too.
Mhm.
But I found that that's pretty good, even like on the days where I feel tired, but I can't really fall asleep. Like I'll
Yeah.
just listen to something and calm
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, I do want to ask you, so for fitness professionals or wellness professionals who are maybe feeling a little bit burnt out, or they're feeling like they're doing a lot physically, right? And maybe they want to work with people in other ways, but still within the same field.
Mhm.
What are some ways that they can maximize their talents
Yeah.
and, still be able to help people without feeling the burnout or without physically having to show up and exert themselves?
Yes, I would say the internet is a great place for that.
Mhm.
Social media is a great place for that. If you have that overall goal of creating community without having to constantly put yourself out there, there's a huge need because there are still a lot of people who don't like going to the gym, who feel that maybe they're not ready or they're too, I don't know, overweight or they have two left feet, like they say. So, having a piece of content that you can repurpose over and over is going to save you a lot of time and it's also going to make you a lot of money,
Mhm.
right? So, making sure that you're not trading your money or your time for money, as they say. So, now with what we have available, these amazing CRMs, you can set up modules for yourself where you can just take people from the first thing to the next thing and the next thing, set up a great email list. And like I always tell potential clients is you want to use social media as the first step in your sales funnel. So
Mhm.
how do you attract them? But even putting content out can be a lot of, it can be very overwhelming and it can
Mhm.
take a lot of time. So having the right strategy to do that is what's going to save you, right?
Mhm.
So understanding what the overall goal is and then making sure that all the content that you have is leading to that specific goal so that when you have them within your community, that content that you had already posted on social media, you can repurpose that over time.
Mm.
Because the people that are following you now are not the same people that were following you 4 months ago. And
Mm.
the people that are going to come later are not going to see your stuff from 4 months ago. You know what I
Right.
mean? So being able to repurpose some of that content and then knowing that you're going to continuously inject people into your community, into your modules, into your course or membership, and then just have the right system so that you can charge directly from that system and then upsell. So
Mm.
you can always upsell so that they invest more to have exclusivity with you. So
Mhm.
your time is so incredibly valuable that you can give part of yourself to the masses, but if they want something more intimate, then they have to invest a little bit more to be able
Mm.
to have you at a deeper level.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
so much sense. And that's kind of where I am right now, just building like my online platform
Yeah.
more and, offering more to people outside of where I
Mhm.
physically am, because there's always people and there's so much money in this
Yeah.
world and there's so many people who are seeking out what you're offering, right?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And then having collaborations, continuing to collaborate and see where people can expose you also to their community. So,
Mhm.
for example, if I'm in this wellness space and I know that I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, maybe there's a coach out there that deals specifically with finance, that deals with debt management, that can also tie into the overall message. Because I can be an expert in A, B, and C, but that person is an expert in D, E, and F. And then go on through your own contacts and developing those relationships on social media so that you attract the right people that can also help your community.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, collaboration is everything. And I want to thank you for collaborating with me, for coming on the podcast today. This was very insightful, and I hope that you guys got something from this conversation. Mary, please tell the people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me all over social media. I'm on Instagram as Mary Massey Fit and also on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. So you can find me anywhere on there. And Threads
Amazing.
as well. So we love Threads. Threads has
Yeah.
been so good to me
It's
lately.
been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get on Threads, everyone. And if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, please rate and review the podcast if you're loving it so far. Share this episode with a friend, with an entrepreneur, with someone who's looking to step out of that career that is burning them out and maybe work a little bit smarter, not harder. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel so you get notified whenever we upload new episodes, drop a comment, and we'll see you in another episode. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.